Millennium to power millennium. Good morning, namaskar. This is Inya Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India. On this day, April 11, 2022, Monday, 302. Talk to you about same issues as was talking before. Talk is not new, but in continuation to previous one. Title of talk remains within real quality at one end and what we do at another end. And everything comes within, you can say, coordination engineering, projects works, all designs, reliable engineers, power of communication, concrete specifications, civil engineering, contracts, safety, health, environment, methods, disputes and disputed claims. I am saying that. And before that, I would like to again introduce myself as follows. This is my name plate, name board, and email ID is suraj_engineer at yahoo.co.uk. You are kindly requested, if you are interested to raise some question or to get some clarification or to know something else, you can send question on email, that is suraj_yahoo.co.uk. I'll pleased to answer a question regarding profession or regarding this talk if you are interested. This is telephone number and address of my residence, but I shall respond on email because it is perfect. Then there is certification of international professional engineer, that you know is very well, every time I show. And there is certification of chartered engineer as well. And latest certification is, because I applied for this, and there is arbitration engineer. And this has been sanctioned, this has been approved by Institution of Engineers India, the Institution of Engineers India, which was established in 1920, and it was royal chartered in 1935. A body, statutory body you can call it, or you can call this corporate body corporate, or you can call it chartered body, whatever you can call. I have been placed according to this on arbitration panel as an arbitrator of Institution of Engineers India, and this can be utilized for purpose of arbitration if something rises as such. And then it is quality file. I'll close this chartered engineer file now. And then also I will close this file of arbitration. If required, I open again. And then this is quality file and this is coordination file. Both are important because we are talking something related to engineering world. Engineering, which is you can say without which nothing works. That point we should understand. And we talk of our country, and that's why you writing as such. Bharat, India speaks about. We are concerned with our country because first we have to improve ourselves. Then we can call all other countries that if we have done like this, or we have followed something else done by someone else. But now I am talking that quality system in our country, that is called ours, India, Bharat, India, is not to that mark. It should be. One should speak frankly. Don't think it's public platform and I speaking against. No, I'm not speaking against anybody. I am speaking to improve whatever we are. We may be bad, we may be good, we may be better. Whatever we are, we have to improve ourselves. And that improvement is sole requirement of life. It is engineering that we have to improve because engineering is life and life is engineering. But we have to improve our individual personality. One is personality and one is personality. We got meaning of two. I am saying as a person, and I am also saying as employee. Whoever is employed, one becomes a personal. Personnel. That personal means staff or worker. I am talking of individuality of worker, quality of a worker. Worker means all categories from top to bottom. I am talking everybody works. It doesn't matter in which category one is. From topmost position in politics or in constitution to bottommost level, all are workers for me. Because if they work, they are there. If they don't work, they won't be there. Simple. Work is worship. There is no difference between work and worship. Only difference is K. Worship, worship or worship. What do you think is right? Worship is right or worship is right or worship is right? If you are worried because of some reason. Because you don't have some information or you are in search of something. That's why one is worried. So why to worry then? Why not to work rather than worrying? If you have some question in mind, answer of which you are looking for, you are seeking, then if you don't have any other source, the only way is try and error, try and check. Just like we say plan it, do it, check it and act it. So you have to find an answer for every question, and that is what is only way to come to solution. So no problem of worrying. Why to worry? Worrying means yes, worry should be there for concentration. Worry you should have for schedule maintenance. Worry you should have for your upkeep of regularity and punctuality, which can vary within very lower limits. But workship I am saying, why don't you work rather than why don't you think? Thinking is also a work. Thinking is working activity, just like concentration is working activity. So we have to work. And work doesn't mean work means not physical or something. Even if you write, it is physical. Because you write with your pen or you type or you use your mind, your capacity for purpose of writing. And that's where solution lies. If you can write and that thinking comes in form of written document, otherwise it would have in your mind as something which you do not know, you might have forgotten. Forgetting is not an answer here. Answer is how to do it, what to do it. And that's what we say. That's what I say. Everybody says that you have to work. And work is worship. That is not imaginary. That is because we concentrate in work. If we can concentrate in work, work goes on and on and on. And mind and soul, combination of both, brings solution to our problem. So work and worship has no difference. There you concentrate with imagination that someone is there, God is there and you are worshipping. Here God is also there. God is helping you, rather it's more important that God is God looks after what you are doing. It's an automatic audit. God knows everything. God tells you everything what you are doing. So God knows how you are working. So I think worship is more important than worship. And worship. Worship leads to worship and worship leads to worship. Actually, if you're honest, you're sincere, you have some aim, you have no problem in your mind, you have no personal or private interest, but you work for improvement of this world, improvement of society, improvement of your whole world. It can be called worship. Worship, yes. It's called worship or worship. There is no difference between worship and worship. Work is worship, and that work which you have resulted in, it is for improvement of this world, and that's called worship. Is that what I'm saying? So if you worship, there are 2 points in our body. One is mind and one is soul. People generally are misled or are swayed by impact of soul that is related to conscience. Everybody is interested to do better and to live comfortably. I didn't find any person till now who can say, no, I want to face struggles in life. Because once you face a struggle, you can change yourself. But nobody expects struggle. Struggles come only on its own, just like natural calamity. If you are prone to struggle or are subject or forced to struggle in life, you will not like it, but there is no other way. Either you submit to struggle and you forget anything else, you don't fight against it, you surrender, or you have to fight against it and then find solution. No struggle is without solution. Struggle has got answer within itself. And that's why I'm talking of your struggle. We have to struggle in our country for purpose of reaching quality destination. Our destination, our flight is different. It's very different flight. I don't want to fly only, but I want to land also. We want to take off, we want to be airborne, and then we want to land. These three sequences must be completed if you want to reach from point 1 to point 2. That's what I say. You started from point 1, but you are unable to reach point 2. This means there shall be some indication. There will be indications that you are going to be crashed. Do you want to be crashed? No, you do not like to be crashed. That's what I'm saying. Why are you getting crashed on quality domain? What and why? And why can't you change? Please don't take it you. I'm not telling you it is in general. I'm talking about a person. I'm talking about society. I'm talking about nation. So when I say you think it's not for you personally, it's for everyone. So when we say quality is my requirement, and it can't be defined, you cannot cross this sentence that you want a quality work. What's wrong with that? Quality work is important. It should be done that way, and there is no other way. We can jump over or no, I can manage otherwise. We cannot manage otherwise. That is also true. And this point we have to understand very clearly that quality is a part of life. It is an integrated part of life, not even attached part or annexed part. It is an integrated part, means original production. Just like my body has quality, and what quality it has, that I have to measure myself. Nobody shall measure it for me. And that's the important point that we have to be clear about. Body is body, mind is mind, soul is soul, though all are in same unit. Mind is a part of body physically, but otherwise it is different. Same way soul is a part of body because it resides in this body. So we have to concentrate on body to check what is level of its mind, what is the level of its consciousness, and how this whole plant of body works. It's a plant. One day it has to shut down permanently. It cannot shut down intermittently. That's the difference between physical plants and body plants. We have to understand quality. We have to understand functionability. We have to refer ourselves to ourselves. Nobody else can tell you what you have to do. It is you have to decide yourself. And that's where our quality lies in. What sort of person one is, what education you have, what's level of development of your mind. It's all you have to consider. Nobody else can teach you what you are. It's your quality, it is your management, it's your organization, how you move. And when I say you, means everyone in combination, or you can say group, or you can say membership of everyone that can contribute to quality improvement is called society, intelligent society. Those who worry about quality, they can never fall. They can never, of course, the quality means you have a kind of worry. Quality cannot come on its own, it has to be achieved. Work production cannot come on its own, it has to be achieved. So work production and quality production are important for everybody. If I get education in university, and if my university cannot give me proper education, I cannot call that university perfect one in quality. Of course, individual matters there, individual personality matters, but standard of education also matters, and that standard of education is foundation or root, or you can say, of quality system to appear in future. If student is not taught about quality, student is not taught about how best to work, a student shall not apply it in future on profession or on occupation or vocation or otherwise. And that's very important point. We have to produce students like this. I am also a student, though I am aged one, doesn't matter, but I every day study something, I every day know something, and also I teach something, is both of that. So we should take importance in learning. Teaching is easy. Once you learn, you can teach it to other one, but always learning is a problem. And if you can learn, you can do, and if you can do, you can improve. This process is continuous, it never stops. Just like our body never stops, even for half an hour during whole life. You can't stop your body, it's not your control. If you want to stop it, means you commit suicide. That's different case. Now I'm saying Bharat, India speaks about what? Bharat means whole people of this country, or if in place of Bharat there is someone else, all people of that country. We want quality. If you ask people, they won't say. Somebody will say, okay, I don't care, that's different. But majority of all public would say, no, we want quality. Saying is one part. Everybody can say it's political statement. Yeah, I will do it. Until you do it, I don't believe you. That's my policy. And I don't want to be that type of person that I first I have to lead myself. Yes, that's right. First I have to lead myself, but that's most important. If I can lead myself, I have the right to say to others, you do this. If I don't lead myself, then I have no right to say to others, you do it, you do that. I have to lead myself. And self-leading is as important in every profession. Self-lead means self-initiative and self-interest and self-involvement, you can say. And there is no break on that. And those who take self-interest, or in other words, we can call them proactive, I call them leaders of their own. And if you can lead yourself successfully, you have complete potential, you have required potential to lead others. Everybody is a leader, that might have to understand, but depends on your controls on yourself. Quality is a kind of control on organization of quality, control on quality processing, control of how much can you achieve, or control, you can control it to requirement, and also you can control it to its improvement, means you can add value onto requirement. That value can be in monetary form, that value can be in processing form, that value can be in degree of enrichment form, and whatever you can call that quality. And that quality has many meanings. It's not only quality testing, it's life of product, it's life cost of product, and how long that product can be used. It is in your hands. If you produce quality and good material is used, and whatever was expected, and it helps that person who uses your product, he should feel satisfied. That person can feel satisfied only if your product fulfills defined requirements, and that definition lies with you. Every product is defined, every product you can say is specified, and we have to be very important on that. Okay, my product is defined, I understand very well what I have to do, and I'm doing this, and that point is really important one. And we have to be clear about that requirement, what that requirement is. That requirement is this, I have to do this. Unnecessary explanation has no meaning, but because people are not able to do something, and I have seen, you know well what level of quality these days is, what it is there, how it is there. There's no way people cannot come out of sleep easily, but we have to bring them from sleeping status to weaving status to thinking status, and that can be brought together by certain positions, certain domains, or something which is not mandated by education, and that is quality and coordination, which both are important. Quality is a requirement, while coordination is how to get information, how to procure information or how to unearth information and use it, or if I want to assume something, that assumption should also be logical, and that logical can be only when we can justify one information in link to another information. Yes, it relates to this string, and that string is very important. Everyone wants, you know, so there be something be done without much work, much involvement. And just like we can say, we pick out a fruit from tree and eat it. See, fruits are based on a process, production, a natural production of fruits, basis on processing, and there are natural materials available which human cannot produce. Seeds human cannot produce, materials human cannot produce, soil human cannot produce, sun rays human cannot produce, air human cannot produce, water human cannot produce. We cannot produce anything. Even then we do a little sowing of crops, or we can say planting of tree, and then we get for long term respective benefits. That point has to be understood in its gross term, in its overall term, and that is called quality, inbuilt quality or quality achieved. Inbuilt we can't change it, but achieved we can change it. We can achieve if we do it way it should be done. And coordination is that which we fail to understand so far. Not only our people, I can say people from around the world. There are very few people who can understand what is meaning of coordination, how to work on that. Very few people, and those it doesn't relate to whatever degree you have or whatever intelligence you have. It is something that you have to, at each point, each event, each activity of your coordination, you should concentrate, you should pick it, you should follow it and read it and understand it. How does it move itself? And when it moves with others, how does it move? How others move? How these interact together? That is very important point. And that's why we said demanded quality must be there. Demanded quality must be realized. And I can say I can't work without that. And I also expect quality should not leave me, because it is my conscious, it is my objective, it is my destiny. And when it is my destiny, for sure, it is my nation's destiny. And if it is nation destiny, this means this is world destiny. Or ultimately, this is destiny of our part of world. And engineering means you have to do it. Engineering and quality are no different. Without quality, engineering cannot be called that it is done. Engineering means you have to produce quality, or if your product, your work is without quality, or it gives different quality than it should, then we can say you have violated quality system. You are not given what is required. We can't accept your product, and whoever is competent to accept that product may or may not accept that product. It depends. But don't forget, engineers are taught, maybe not in subject form but in work form, post degree or post diploma. You have to work, and that work, if you don't understand meaning of quality in education, you may not be able to apply that by just understanding. I did not study this, I don't understand meaning of quality. But we cannot say in this age quality is not understood. At least term is understood, if not its background. When we work on works, contracts, etc., quality is a requirement. Just like quantity is a requirement, because every project has some quantities of items, and those quantities means these should be delivered, they should be manufactured, or they should be constructed with certain defined parameters, defined specifications. And when we say specification, it is very specific term. It's not general, and everybody cannot know that. At least those who are from that profession, who work in that profession, who have a specific degree or diploma for that work, these can understand very well. And they should know that, and if they are not clear about that, then there should be some written document which must explain that. And who writes that document, who draws that document, depends on specific requirements, specific potential, specific caliber, specific capacity, whatever you call. We can say capacity building of a person. Capacity building is nothing but putting quality in position, quality and efficiency. Efficiency is also a part, because efficiency means production. Efficiency means quantity, the giving. So engineers are basically qualified, basically, just for understanding. Engineer term is not anything in itself. Engineer's analysis is that one should have mind. One should lead, one should think, one should analyze everything, and that is what work of mind is. Work of mind is not just to view something and that's okay, I understand. Just by viewing we cannot understand anything. We have to understand by analyzing whatever we have. And analysis should be a good one. It should tell everything. It should give you answer for every question. And that analytical power engineers have plenty, because engineers learn theories, engineers learn some materials, engineers learn whatever is not learned by others. And then it's not question of engineering technology, it's question of engineering domain, engineering field, that we have to know about whatever materials are required, from where these materials would come, whatever human resources are required, how shall these human resources train themselves, or somebody would train them. And once you get training, you have to apply that training, you have to apply it on your jobs, and you can know more about good or bad of that you did. And that's what it never stops. Actually, it moves on and on, and that becomes a part of experience. It is a basic job of engineers to handle quality as well as quality means you automatically shall deal with coordination in that case, or you can say knowledge area you have to deal with knowledge. You have to write in your way what areas are required, but questions in this case we were asked for, or we have to solve. That's very important. We require to establish both domains, quality and coordination, permanently in engineering professions and also other walks of life, because no walk of life is free from complications, free from requirement of quality, and free from, you can say, whatever specifications apply. That point is very significant for everybody, and we have to understand that point, that real quality engineering and real quality coordination and real quality organization, and you can say real work and real require, whatever you can say, real, it is not real, it is real. Remember, I'm saying REL, not REL. REL is, that is imagination. Not talking about imagination, because engineering is not based on imagination. Engineering is based on factual world. It's become reality. And when people talk about something without any logic, I say, please give some logic. It should be based on, it should not be imaginary. It should be engineering wise, because engineering never says it's imaginative. Engineer never disclaims anything. Engineer claims for what is done. If I do some work, I must claim, yes, this is done accordingly. This is done according to meeting requirement. What a philosophical quality philosophy is inserted in. And that part is very important from everybody. It may be working designs, it may be manufacturing, it may be construction world, it may be continuously, or it may be whatever where quality is required. Quality can be understood by everyone. It's not only quality testing, it is quality work, it is quality system, it's quality person, it's quality where it plays in use of mind, follow up or add up both. You have to follow up to quality requirements, or you have to add up to what can be done. You can augment that requirement, or you can reduce that requirement, which depends on what work you are doing, what is demand and what is budget limit, and what according to budget limit also it is impacted, because you cannot give quality without any requirement. If somebody says, no, I have to use this product only for a couple of days, then you cannot stick to that level. Okay, fine, for that purpose this quality is there, and that definition of quality is given for on every item. Probably for your drawings are designed, and those must be quality design. Planning should be quality. One means whatever we do, it should relate to that work, and that going to fix real quality in Bharat, India. whatever happens, we call it come what may, no excuse for any concessions. I don't want to give any concession, and I don't expect any concession. The others should ask, because concession, it's kind of indirect inducement, or you can say indirect acceptance, which is not acceptable. Okay, in some case it can happen, means emergency, there something happen, but in normal situation there is no question of any concession, unless skies would fall. You can say quality is a requirement, work's quality cannot be compromised. There is no question why should I compromise. I don't compromise anything, therefore we do not intend to compromise just in name of you can say fragile existing quality system. I don't believe systems is fragile, which doesn't guarantee any quality. What ISO says, that is different, but I believe a system where product comes with quality. Otherwise, there exists no meaning of doing system, following system, making system, planning system. There doesn't exist any meaning, if we can't achieve it. If we can't achieve it, then what for system is built, what for it's implemented. Now there's no meaning at all. All systems are useless if this can't be achieved, and we can't live on a piece of paper regarding your certificate. I'm ISO 9001 compliance or I'm the certificate. You can't say that certificate got no meaning if your work doesn't evidence, if it doesn't prove that you have that capacity, and that capacity building is very important. Engineering, education, and practical, and then job all deliver chances of learning and learning and learning, and that's why we will call it a part of development. And we can say all work we do and all jobs we do, or whatever jobs we do with responsibility, and that can be called, you can say, contribution to world of engineering, or you can say it is doing something in engineering, and it should improve your knowledge, and it should improve knowledge of others, and that whatever work we do, whatever item we carry out, it should be functional. Success, it should be functional. It should not be just no, just see it and check what it can do. That item must have some function, technical function, or technical functional delivery. Otherwise, there is no meaning at all. I can't call that product which can't be used, except if it is used in some other way, not directly, indirectly. But that's not my headache. Headache is what I actually want, means a quality system I want to comply with, quality I want to comply with, both I want to comply with. And you can say this delivery is my job, this delivery job of an engineer, this delivery job of a unit, manufacturing unit, customer, whatever it is, means we have to see that. So nowhere generally have to find, everywhere have to find, we have to see which way obstacles come in. That's our job to know. Obstacles, are this clear, or we can understand what obstacles are available, so that we cannot do quality job. This, if you understand, every job becomes very clear. Engineering is that you have to study yourself, you read yourself, you have to understand what it is. Everybody cannot be taught to you. As an engineer, you have to learn yourself, because you're an engineer, you have complete capacity to learning mathematical work, physical work, or you can say augmentative work, quality enrichment work, whatever you do according to your caliber. All stages come up, and one, because you must fit somewhere, or if you fit everywhere, your best person, I can say. It depends on what work you have to do, and that's very important point. I should also say, not something we can't do. If we have to do, we do it. That's why red lines, whatever come, there should be no red line at all, because we are all good people. Why should there be red lines? No question of red lines, but still there are red lines because we are careless. I can't blame that red lines come. No, red lines come, of course. Red lines means they're not automatic. It's because of our negligence. If we do what we say, if we comply with what we say, if we move on the same track which we decide ourselves, then why there is, then you can say we could not comply with. There should be no question at all. But we are all human beings, and sometimes not one person works, many person works. Sometimes information is available to everyone, but people don't read this, don't care for that, and that's why quality slumps, quality falls. We can't achieve 100% quality, even if sometimes we don't 50%. And that's where red lines are there. What red lines are there? Why these red lines are there? We have to understand ourselves. Nobody will teach us. And if we are able to understand why these red lines are red, why can't make it green, or why can't make something else, so that work moves on and on. At that point, have to be red lines can be many, or can be, once you understand what red line is, then you can check it, and that's very important point. So I raised many questions last time also, that we have to do this, and in engineers detailed deliberations, which I always say is very important. Detailed deliberation can never end. This every day you can think and you can do, because deliberations are detailed studies. Liberation, it is deliberation. You can say that we just separate D from liberation, means you have got complete freedom. If you understand what to do, what way you have to do. If you deliberation can be, if you know, oh no, I trust this work, I trust this proposal, I trust this in direction, in relation to my capability, my caliber, I understand this, and when I understand means I can do it. And that's called liberation. Means you have liberated from some misconception. You have liberated that automatically shall happen. You are now calculative. You have calculated. You have checked. Now it can be done if I have this information. I have this system of, or I have method. I apply this, and I have done it and tested it. That comes to compliance. That's very important. That we have to deliberate our roles. We have to deliberate our responsibilities. We have to deliberate our obligations, and we have to deliberate, have we done it well, or there still lies some deficiency, some requirement that we could not comply with. That's what it says. Information must be brought to those persons who require it. It must be provided in right time for right requirement. If you miss it, means you cannot coordinate, and then that person cannot coordinate who receives that information to include somewhere, insert somewhere, but that person does not insert it and doesn't insert. That means it doesn't come to study, it comes to understanding, and you say, okay, this missing something. Missing is only that you did not take care of coordination and properly inserted that which was required. That's what examination of engineering information about quality requirements and how to do that, how to do it. It is through certain system of quality itself. We call that. It's preferable to write some statement to do something at least once, if not every time, and there should be many repetitions for one activity on some product. Means that activity is done everywhere on that product, or you can say it's a kind of gross item, and once you have to decide about that, how to do that, then it goes on and on and on. Every time you have not to do for same nature of item, for same requirement, and you can say how to concentrate on construction method decision making, and that's very important point. It is easy to say that you write construction method statement, or I write, but writing is not enough. And what if I do not know how to do it? How can I write? The question is, okay, I know material is approved or it's not approved. We can fill it, and what others required, why, how can we do it in that specific way? And it is a specification that would tell us, means what you have to achieve, but how to achieve, how to transform that requirement to physical world, to, you can say, production world, and that's what all we have to devise. We have to design ourselves method statement for solving that complication that exists for that item. Item is not seen because it has been done. We know it's going to be done. It shall be done. It shall speak on its own. Yes, my boy or my girl or my worker, you have done it, because I say that work which I'm going to do, that considers me a source, or whoever does it, a source of its survival or being. And that's important point. How to concentrate on construction methods, decision making, and it's sometimes small decision making, sometimes it's big decision making. Items like that, if a big item like concrete, we can say we can't leave it to anyone, because it's concrete itself, it's long-term affair, it's long-term use item. Today we have to be practically applicable, we have to be practically competent, we must have certain target to make everybody to this level. I agree, everybody cannot be of same level, but time teaches everyone, circumstances teach everyone, and that's what we see. We got it, we don't have this, and that's resolution to do right work per specified requirement, and that we can say that process in which you have resolving how to do this work yourself can be called the method statement, or before method statement, if you are not inclined to activity, you have to start activity. In that case, we call that time it is available land or a piece of paper on which the work has to move, and you have to think of that, means how to use this piece for this work, how to start, how to move further, And it's not that one it is determined alone. You have to you have to consult, or you have to refer, or you have to converse or chat with your employees or your partners, or whoever they are, and of course external partners as well, for example vendors who are from different organizations, or fabrication unit, or it may be practical unit, maybe whatever work, all walks of life. As I say, all walks of life means what is that? We can say it is really different. Sometimes we don't feel time is moving, but time moves, and that's a very important point. And time doesn't wait for anybody, and should not wait. Why should time wait for somebody? Because it's not job of time to wait. It's job of time can't wait for ourselves. We have to find light in terms of work, that what we are doing or what others are feeling about us. I don't think that's matter much, but it's better for your own purpose that I try to check it, and I have been able to check it. Generality is that generality you have to try yourself, and one can satisfy others if one understands that, and that's why I can start. Quality is very important. Its resolution is very important. Method can be designed by senior people. These can be drawn, these can be shaded for designs or for execution, or carrying out activities, as well as for rectification or remedial actions for services. Method means comprehensive methods and not selective one. No work be carried out without referring to method statements, which must contain safety element, health element, environment element, quality element, planning element, or whatever you can say, other parts of whatever work we do. Everything should be clear in writing to avoid any misunderstanding or misinterpretation of what we say. You cannot interpret in yourself and keep it on your mind. Say, I interpreted that way. That interpretation, whatever you consider at time of doing that job, it must go into that job. It should clearly clarify this based on this level of understanding. That's very important, which you don't find current books. It should be when specialization moves on very highest level, and everybody should know what he's done, what has been done, how it could be better. If you can make it better with a chance, you can make it better, you can improve it. So that's what I say. Methods means complete, comprehensive methods, and not selective ones. Every method should be honorable. Every method should be, you can say, given a function of that. So what about context for construction? And that's we say construction is a world where without context it is nearly impossible to do the job. Even if it's a small job, though one should do a small job itself, but it's again same marketing problem, procurement of workers problem likewise. So quality can be affected there. Either we don't start that project in given time, or even during work there can be disturbances, there can be interruptions, which we can't avoid, but engineering moves on, life moves on. That's major point. I will come back to this. Now let's go to the coordination file, and that is reliable coordination engineering of projects, public and engineers. These are not the coordination is very important point here. It's reliable coordination means which can be trusted one, which can be applied once and every time. And once we understand how to apply that, that's our level of requirement. That's our level of, you can say, capacity building is very important in this case. Capacity building means you have already capacity, or you have to start it in yourself. You don't have capacity and you have to take that capacity, you have to increase your own, you have to learn it, and you can learn only from existing projects or working projects, or whatever you can say. If you have an opportunity to go to learn that, definitely you will like to learn that, and to see what you learned in your university is referred to that, or is in line to that, or it is not in line to that. The points are really wonderful, and we have to see how engineers do. Engineers know what they do, but every engineer does differently, depends on what's the ease of working, what's the ease of convenience, and it's okay, fine, as far as quality is achieved, production is achieved. We should not mind that. Means we should not mind anything about that. So reliable quality engineering was the way we are talking about, and it's again same way. I can see there are so many files in this also. I like to go to and see if we can do something or we can't do something, and that's important. And before that, I shall like one time I shall like to tell you about my experience also in my field. where I could reach. That first I like to discuss with you, because before doing something you should know to what particular person is talking. And I started from very small level. In fact, if you see my CV, you will be surprised to see that how could I reach that level, or what I could achieve. I don't say I achieve anything specific, but it's specific or not specific, it's better sometimes that we should evaluate it ourselves, and we should realize a CV file here. I would like to say, open this file for you people to view what I'm saying. And first I like to list means I have worked in many organizations. What are those organizations? And for example, if you can see this file, this is my old CV. I mean, many years back. I think it's maybe it is, I don't know exactly, 2020. So 2 years back. This is exactly 4 months. So 2 years old CV. I'm not updated it actually. It can be updated. That's not a big issue. It is not a problem. You can see in this I am saying, I'm declaring that what have been my performances. This is usually current performances, you can say, and it is about that I did something last time. An important part of this is resource person online disseminating live videos, talks pertinent project management or engineering and accessible, whatever it is. And that is for sure my own book review, you can say. And of course economy related to Earth, Constitution of India, Bharat, current affairs, language into English. These are some videos, some references. There is continuous, means as possible we try to continue, because it's for dissemination to people, which is opportunity, which privilege we did not have enough time. I want to give privilege to those people who are positively involved, in doing quality job, not everyone. The CV has been divided in many parts. In part there is a general description part, and current engagement, and past 5 years, and previous careers assignment, old projects. So here interest lies with old projects, and that's why I say old projects. And what are these? Maybe this is a bigger file. I can say, okay, that's fine, and we have to see. I will like to show you a list of this before I go further, which I use that list to actually I use it for my purpose of collegium's satisfactory reply to people. There is no element, and a very small page file it is. You can say here, response to II mail 513. What response says, let me see. Okay, this is that, and of course I will open this. This is that file which I sent to them. Now it's this one, you can say. In this I have written response. This response was that this is my say 17 assignments. You can see organizations. Actually it started from first one, that was Delhi Durga Authority, where I worked for 6 years between 1975 and 1981 as junior engineer. This was the lowest category in engineering profession, and it must be I still respect it, because it was beginning of my career, and I worked there for 6 years, but learning was very limited. I can't comment that one, because it was the initial start of work, and I was not well educated by that time. Only had diploma in engineering, but I could successfully complete my degree there itself. And in 1981 I worked for Ansels Properties India Limited, April. And let me just close this file, because this maybe later on it is necessary. Okay, and this Ansel Properties, we can say I worked there for 6 months in the Iraq project, grain silos, or we can say another one also. There I was junior project engineer. It was located in Iraq, Sharqat, Baghdad, and this was good work for me to learn. And because I came from government sector, I didn't actually know what contractor has to work, particularly in Gulf or in Middle East. Quality system is very strict. I will talk about that system later. Let me first share with you my information about my assignments, and then this is the second one. Then I went to Eurotech and Associates, that's in the UK organization, of course owned by some Indian person, but this I worked there for more than a year, and I worked as a project engineer, site manager for one tower of a building, whether it is a tower portion. In 1982 it was done when my role was there, and after that there's some problems. I joined another one. I left that company because company was in problem, or there was some technical problem, political problem, whatever it is. Then I tried to be back to Iraq because my start career was in Iraq after this country, and this was my third assignment of SciTech India Limited, a senior engineer in that, senior site engineer, and therefore I worked. I was site engineer, you consider a senior. Then I worked therefore in Baghdad, and then I moved to, after that, electrical construction company, ECO, we used to call it. It was joint venture of Government of India and Government of SPLAJ, Socialist People Libya Jamahiriya in those days. And I worked there in 1983-84 and produced one, constructed one diesel power station foundations. That was really, for me at that time, was a good job, but didn't have much details or technicalities. Design was done by French people, French companies. We just implemented those details, and this this taught me how tanks can be produced for purpose of good compliance of engineering, or else forget engineering. And that's I remember those details, particularly we can say isolation, vibration isolation details, which are very important one, and construction details, concreting details. And in that case also I did many planning jobs there for this company. I did also many other jobs. So then I joined. I didn't like to work in Iraq and Libya because of remittance problem. So I then tried to. I also visited UK for about 20 days, 18 days, just to see if I could settle there. But I didn't find anything such as January, early January, and it was very cold at the time. I don't like very cold, so no problem. That was. I could join Doha, Qatar after that. Doha, Qatar, and Alatia Contracting and Trading Company. I was quit in 1985 and 1989. I worked there. I did 3 projects for them, for site agents for these 3 projects. First was landscaping, school landscaping program, and also then boys preparatory school at Amsalal, and then also you can say the army, 2nd Royal Guard Army training camp. These 3 projects I worked here, and then I came, there's some reason I had to stay in Delhi for a couple of years, and I did consultancy work in Delhi for buildings and tried to town planning also with that, but it didn't successfully didn't work, and I just seldom I went back to Qatar again, and so mid-Mac contracting. I worked there for them on 2 projects. One was LNG project, a record surveying of that one, and the other one was the construction of villa, beach villa you could call it, like a big palace, and it was just on shore. We know how people react on shore. What do we get? We do that one. It's a important one. There's a mid-Mac. I worked as successfully as office engineer, site engineer, or as a director of some project. But director you may not say, project manager you may say, or agent you may say. Direct doesn't mean look, because I was a very small person. And after that we joined Khalsa Contracting and Trading in 1996-98. I had to work in that company for I was chief engineer for many buildings, commercial buildings and school. That one, and with that, it's like you can say after that I joined. After this mid-Mac, I joined Khalsa Contracting and Trading, as I said, and then in 1992-93, 1999 and 2003, I had joined Al Jaber Energy Services, United Arab Emirates, and then it was for about 3.5 years I was located on, you can say, Ruwais ethylene 600 kT ethylene plant for about 3 years more, you can say. And then it was of course I had to stay in desert in those days. There was no way that you can stay in city, because city was 300 kilometers from there, and daily driving, and I didn't have a car there, I didn't have anything. So that we did. So Al Jaber Energy Services, I did good work there on site. I learned that I tried to do complete coordination. I tried to make proposals for everything. Those proposals, of course, these are missing proposals in designs, but you can do it yourself if you have the opportunity with you. and that made me learning better. I felt the learning was required. I was not having every information, but of course, learning can never end. Even documentary learning of 1 year is also very important because it gives you input. So it's not simply that you have to attend for a couple of years in university and get degree. Question is not for degree. Your question is knowledge. What knowledge you draw from that, and what knowledge you have drawn. That knowledge is tested in terms of in such terms you can say. Then we have to do ourselves. But we can say we have to check ourselves everything. For remaining part I will talk later on because these are all descriptive ones. So in the meanwhile, I like to close it here and we'll go back again to our coordination systems, and I'll open file of concrete. Now that's very important one. If you see that concrete is as we have Japanese specifications, and we talk about that. Coordination is very important part. So again and again I'm stressing that one. We should be sure about that. Coordination cannot be ignored. We cannot ignore it. Whatever comes, and coordination is not available, information not available, so it becomes more responsible for what of everybody. And we should know what is coordination, how it can affect our life. And if we can't know this, then we can't do it. Simple, and that's simple. Whatever somebody writes, if designs are to be implemented, you should have controls on works. And that's an important point. If you don't have controls, means you can't control anyone. And that's what I say, means we have to be very serious in our capacity building. The capacity building remains capacity until when we do it, when we work on this, we think on this, and we can say whatever we have, our knowledge areas, for example, what controls we do have, that we have to see. We have progress point, we have cost, we have cost escalation as well, and we have some time for the project, we have budget requirements, budget allocations, and we have quality requirements, assurances, both. Coordination engineering is an important part of that one, and you can say quality importance is best. You can say everything is a part of that one. We can't live like that. We can't go like that. That's very different. So my dear friends, I'll jump over concrete quality, and that is quality of concrete, which was I think somewhere with page 180. I still remember 180 or nearby. Let's see what is it. So we can say here is also maybe somewhere here. So it was, let us say, temperature control. I think we have done this temperature control. So we will not waste time on this. We'll go to against harmful effects. And what are the harmful effects that we have now think of? What are the harmful effects? Protection against harmful effects. Now we are talking of concrete, and we are leading way into which we can be better. We can be much better than we are here. And it's not simply what we are saying, it's logical study. Protection against harmful effects. Protection against harmful effects. Concrete shall be protected against harmful effects such as vibration, impact, and other loads. And before that was some paragraph which, let us say, we did not go to details of that one, but accelerated curing includes atmospheric pressure, steam curing versus atmospheric pressure steam curing, that is natural one. There is autoclave curing, which is higher than that to the temperature. Autoclave curing and heat curing. For further information, we can go to other one. That's no problem. Special concrete of the specification where heat curing is carried out by using heater mats, jet heaters. Concrete surface is subject to drying and cracking. In such cases, humidifying devices may be used in accelerated curing. Care may be taken because cracking may result if temperature is not lowered gradually after completion of curing. So what it says in accelerated curing, care requires to be taken because cracking may result if temperature is not lowered gradually after completion of curing. Also it says if member size is large, member size of whatever member we have, beam, column or slab, if member size is large and a considerable temperature increase considerable temperature increase according to hydration is anticipated, or if big temperature differential is anticipated, cracks may be introduced by, or cracks may develop, you may say, by thermal stress. A concrete temperature, therefore, and temperature differential have to be controlled by pipe cooling possibility, or by insulation, surface heat insulation, or a combination of both. When atmospheric temperature is high, additional effect due to acceleration of cement hydration need be considered. Also, we have to consider here, you can say, if atmospheric pressure is extremely high, initial strength tend to develop quickly. If atmospheric temperature is extremely high, initial strength tends to develop quickly. However, increase of strength, however, over long term, to be small, and durability of water tightness of concrete is sometimes inferior. In addition, specific attention needs be paid to keep concrete surface wet. For cases when daily mean temperature is greater than 25 degrees Celsius, that point we have to keep in mind. It's a very important point. Now go to protection against harmful effects. We just wanted to know if we have a doing, and we know, yes, we got something. Now let's go to concrete shall be protected against harmful effects such as vibration, impact, and other loads. Vibration, impacts, and other loads. Concrete shall be protected against all these. What it says then, how it is. Concrete shall be protected against harmful effects such as vibration, impact, and other loads that are likely to arise during curing period. What is likely to arise? Vibration, impact, other loads. In the commentary it says, concrete which has not yet sufficiently hardened is likely to suffer damage, which is not hardened, which is soft, is still, or green. Concrete which has not yet sufficiently hardened maybe is likely to suffer damage, including cracks due to impacts, excessive loads, vibration, etc. Therefore, it's necessary to avoid placing material or dropping heavy articles on surface of concrete during hardening period. It is necessary to avoid placing material or dropping heavy articles on surface of concrete during hardening period. Harmful conditions also include rain showers during placement, poor quality of curing water, overheating during heat supply curing, etc. It is necessary to prevent occurrence of these harmful effects with full understanding of properties of early age concrete, or if it's unavoidable to protect concrete from their influences. If concrete is likely to be exposed to seawater, we have to refer to sources. So special concretes of this specification. Now we have to see joints. We have discussed already some joints. I'm just trying to discuss of that now. Yes, we have. Up to here we had gone. construction joint of inversely placed concrete we did, and then vertical construction joints we are doing here. We have come to see mesh wire netting we had gone through, and we have here you can say yes, we did up to here reinforcement for construction joint. We'll just have a little look on this as well, because construction joints of floor system it is. We had done that construction columns and walls, but I read it only for reference so that we can know what we did. Construction joints in columns and walls integrated to the floor system. Construction joints in a column or wall integrated with the floor system should be formed adjacent to border between them. Concrete in haunches shall be placed at the same time as floor concrete. Concrete in haunches shall be placed at the same time as floor concrete. Similar procedures shall be used in structures with an overhang. So we can say construction joints in columns and walls integrated with floor systems. Construction joints in the column or wall integrated with floor system should be formed adjacent to border between them. Concrete in haunches shall be placed at same time as floor concrete. Similar procedures shall be used in structures with an overhang. Concrete of haunch must be placed in continuity. With floor construction, in view of fact that as it is directly supported with shuttering, it cannot shrink or settle together with concrete of column or wall. So haunch behaves as part of slab. Construction joints in floor system. Construction joints in floor system should be made in middle of slab or beam. In cases when a beam crosses a joist, at middle of span construction joint, in beam shall be provided at a position apart from joist by about twice width of joist. Construction joint be reinforced against shear by providing additional diagonal tensile reinforcement crossing joint. Construction joint shall be reinforced against shear by providing additional diagonal tensile reinforcement crossing joint. A construction joint is formed in middle of a slab. Or beam because shear force in this area is usually small and compressive stress works at right angles to vertical construction joint. Hence, formation of a construction joint has little effect on strength capacity of slab or beam. If a joist crosses beam, at middle of its span, however, it is advisable to position construction joint at about twice width of joist away from joist in order to avoid coincidence of construction joint with point at which stress changes sharply, as considerable shear force is applied to construction joint. In that case, joint has to be reinforced using tension bars that cross construction joint at an angle of 45 degrees. So it's here like this. You can see construction joint is here. You can see that one. This is construction joint here. This is joist BO, and this is 2BO about. Here you can do that, and you can provide this steel at 45 degrees, or you can say diagonal reinforcement itself. That you can say here. Where it says here that joist or twice width of joist construction joint shall be reinforced against shear by providing additional diagonal tensile reinforcement crossing joint. With tensile reinforcement, you can reduce spacing. Spacing of stirrups, so that also can replace this one. Now, construction joints in arches should be provided at a right angle to axis of arch, and that's an important one. It's an important one. To be very clear about that also. And just the note, please. Alright, so we said that here, since you can say in arches, a triangle axis of arch, in case when a construction joint is obliged to be parallel to arch location, reinforcing methods for strengthening shall be carefully examined. And that is, since the shear force acts along joint, when construction joint in arch is not formed at right angles, since shear force acts along joint, when construction joint in arch is not formed at right angles to arch axis, joint is likely to be structurally weak point. This requirement is prescribed, for purpose of avoiding shear force. Now, if a vertical construction joint is formed parallel to axis, arch axis, an action such as eccentric live load might cause shear force along joint. Therefore, sufficient countermeasures against these problems are required. If a vertical construction joint is formed parallel to arch axis, Eccentric live load might cause shear force along joint. It says expansion joint now. Expansion joints we are going to reach. Expansion joints. These structure of expansion joints shall be such that structures or members on both sides can be free from restraint. Joint filler, water stop, etc. shall be provided expansion joints if necessary. In cases when evenness of expansion joint is required, protrusion or groove should be introduced or dowel bars provided. What is comment here? To form an expansion joint, either both joint structures must be perfectly discontinuous, or depending on type of joint, type of structure and location of installation, concrete may be discontinuous and reinforcing bars may remain continuously. If expansion joint gap is likely to become filled with soil, sand or so forth, joint filler material shall be used. That is, soil, sand or so forth, joint filler material shall be used. Examples of filling materials are sheets of asphalt, rubber foam, resin foam or other sealing and filling materials. Expansion joint for a structure, for that it requires water tightness. A water stop with proper flexibility must be used. Examples of water stopper are copper plates. We have to form an expansion joint, either both joint structures must be perfectly discontinuous or depending on type, structure and location of installation, concrete may be discontinuous and reinforcing parts may be continuous. If an expansion joint gap is likely to become filled with soil, sand and or so forth, the joint filler material shall be used. Examples of filling materials are sheets of asphalt, rubber foam, resin foam or other sealing and filling materials. For expansion joint of a structure that requires water tightness, a water stop with proper flexibility must be used. Examples of water stoppers are copper plates, stainless plates, vinyl chloride, resin sheets and rubber sheets. You can say water stopper be, copper plates can be, stainless steel plate can be, and vinyl chloride, resin sheets and rubber sheets. Here are sketches of this, very easy, you can see. You can see the expansion joints here, insulation here, and that's it. And you can say insulation here, wall structure this is, and insulation is like this by asphalt. Both are asphalt. It's a little interlocking, but it's straight. Here is, you can say it's like that, different position, vertical split, and here it's dowel bar in this, and you can say then it's water stop here in addition to that of same one. Then we can say same shape here, it can be here, and this is a dowel bar and mastic here, sealing material, and this is over two levels are there. This is the sealing material and other bars, and this is your water stop. Then the filling material can be whatever is described there as water stop here and filling material. Now water stop filling material is that you can see on the roofs it happens. Asphalt membranes are slab, so there's water stop filling material, and here is what we say this filling material. This is slab, the waterproofing layer, asphalt membrane, and that's what we say. So about asphalt membrane, about filling material, and there is one rubber ring. A rubber ring, we can say that rubber ring is here. I guess it's base of water tank, in particularly water tank this is, and here is filling material, and this is the love material go out. So powerful this material. Here is hinge, this section of hinge. These two foundations are not same, they may be different. In that case, we can say hinge here. This hinge provision, likewise in water. Very, very little different here. It is because hinge is this, and this water power. It should be in design document and in case of concrete structure, there are many factors that cause deformation besides applied forces. In case of concrete structures, there will be many factors that cause deformation besides applied forces, including temperature change due to heat of hydration and outer temperature, drying shrinkage, and so on. Cracks may develop. If such deformation is restrained, it is therefore desirable to control cracks by forming notches in cross section at given intervals in order to concentrate cracks. Crack inducing joints need be considered at design stage. If design drawings and specifications do not deal with crack including joints, it is necessary to refer to design section of specifications and provide appropriately located and structured crack inducing joints through consultation with designer. In case of concrete structures, there are many factors that cause deformation. Okay. Now, when joint to control cracking is used, when joint to control cracking is used, sufficient consideration is necessary to decide spacing material, spacing intervals, reduction size of cross section, method to prevent steel corrosion, that is reduction ratio of cross section, method to prevent steel corrosion, and method to ensure required cover and filling material in notches. In general spacing interval of joints may be 1 to 2 times. Wall heat and reduction ratio of cross section is advisable to be more than 30 to 35%, 30 to 50%. Some examples of joints to control cracking in wall structures are shown. We'll discuss in these figures. Notches are vertically arranged on both sides of wall and insulation is embedded in wall. If it is necessary to obtain required cross-section reduction ratio, we have here C, E and G. We'll see what is that. Show the vinyl chloride pipe, precast concrete block and steel plate with remover on their surfaces are respectively arranged in wall to a cut bond of concrete and to induce stress concentration. Cross section required reduction side rate, cross section reduction rate of is defined as value obtained by dividing cross section reduction rate is defined as rate value obtained by dividing an additional depth of notches on both sides and width of embedded installation by original wall thickness. If a crack control joint is formed in a water tightness structure, it is advisable to take proper water preventive measures, including advanced installation of water stopper. Now this is spacing intervals of joints to control cracking, and wall height is there, and that's what his section is shown. This is what depth is between two notches, 0.8 D, and there's then water stop here, and then of course we can put a pipe in place of here pipe. We can put for purpose of drainage and also water stop here. We have precast concrete block here in this place which notches. This is a remover, and we can say remover is here, pipe, and of course examples of joints to control cracking. There is notches here, sealing of resin mortar, filling material, and here is water stop here. This is plate here, and this is plate here. Filling material, and that is what this is, shape of notch. This is distribution bars. Examples of joints to control cracking. Now we come to current time, which is very important here. current time reinforcement. Reinforcing bars shall be fabricated to shape and size specified in design documents. Reinforcing bars shall be fabricated to shape and size specified in design documents using appropriate methods that do not cause any damage to quality of bars. Furthermore, reinforcing bars shall be accurately placed in whatever hence now reinforcing bars shall be fabricated to shape and size specified in design documents using appropriate methods that do not cause any damage to quality of bars. Furthermore, reinforcing bars shall be accurately placed in required position and securely fixed in place. Main bars which should be examined in general specifications or reinforcements, you can say. Work are explained as follows. Master planning. What is master planning here? We have here prior to reinforcement work. Prior to reinforcement work, a plan shall be drawn up. A plan, how to do it. A plan shall be drawn after carefully considering schedule for reinforcement work. Panel personal requirement. What is schedule for reinforcement? That is BBS, and personal requirement, storage locations, and for reinforcing bars, bar processing equipment, and so forth. These involved in reinforcement work should preferably have sufficient knowledge